Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer is with us now from Washington. Colonel, could this war of words escalate into an actual military conflict?
I don't believe so at this time. And as the package was rolling, you talked about the fact this goes back 1,400 years. So this is but one more rise in tension. What makes it different is this: nuclear weapons, the potential thereof. You have Iran, who is very close to a weapon. The Saudis would take a delivery of one. So unlike past uprisings, the Shia-Sunni conflict, you're talking about a whole new generation of potential bad conflict. I'm not, and please don't take this saying to be an alarmist. I'm just saying this is where the potential could be. When President Obama was negotiating the Iran deal, one of the things we the United States were constantly dealing with is the Saudis and the Sunni issues. So frankly, there's no win here for us. There's no good side for us to take sides with. The Shia have their own issues, as we're seeing now, and the Sunni were the ones who actually, through Wahhabism, have really radicalized much of the Islamic faith. So what we have to do here is figure out what's best for the United States and try to figure out how to navigate this. But I don't see this as escalating immediately into an armed conflict, but there are things down the road we have to look at.
You know, there have been ongoing conflicts in this region for a while now, but what we're seeing now that I think is a little different is that other Mid-East countries are kind of weighing in. Bahrain, Sudan, the United Arab Emirates, all cutting ties with Iran as well. How does that affect the rest of the region, do you think?
Well, badly. I mean, look, we've already recognized that in Yemen, between the Houthi, who are essentially the ones being backed by the Iranians, and the legitimate government being backed by Saudi, that's a good example of proxy warfare. Let's remember that the Saudis have been trying to put together this 34-nation Sunni, essentially a Sunni NATO, if you will, an organization to fight ISIS. This is going to hurt that. So clearly, there's a lot of regional politics which are going to be exacerbated and made worse by this. And people are picking up and drawing sides. With that said, again, this is not the first time this has happened. So I don't want to put too much emphasis in the people drawing sides. I think there's diplomatic options still here ahead of us. And I think obviously we should be helpful in trying to put those forward as part of the solution.
Colonel, as you point out, these tensions are nothing new, the Shia-Sunni tensions. But is there something that has happened in recent history to escalate things to the point that they are at now? I mean, why are things getting so bad now?
Well, I think, again, I go back to my original comment regarding nuclear weapons. You're seeing now Iran moving in a direction which makes the Sunni world very uncomfortable. The other thing here is this: we're actually seeing the Russians in the region kind of picking sides as well. You have essentially Syria, Iran, and Russia working together. I would call them the Damascus Pact, kind of shaping up. And then you have Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, all the other countries, the Sunni countries kind of lining up with us. So you almost have a Cold War setup here. And so I think that's one of the overlying factors regarding this underlying conflict that goes back 1,400 years. This is something that's very complex. And because of others coming into the region, such as us and the Russians, I mean, we've dabbled in this for a long time. You see the effects of that being kind of, I think, magnified. And I think that's why you see this total kind of inflaming all of once again.
Can we talk a little bit about the possible impact on the conflicts that the U.S. is involved in Syria and in Iraq? I mean, what could happen here?
Well, obviously, this is the exact area where it'll play out. You could see in Iraq, we've already seen this. The Sunni and Shia elements within Iraq have led to the fractioning of that country. And you have the Kurds as well, but let's talk about Sunni and Shia here for a second. The Shia-led government has been basically pushing out the Sunni being backed by the Saudi Arabians. So now you see Iraq, kind of the microcosm of Iraq, playing out what's going on regionally. And so I think what we could see happen is that both sides, all sides, take in Iraq and use that as a metaphor for other places, a lot of proxy warfare. So I believe, and others at the Pentagon believe, that we have to watch Iraq to see what's going to happen regionally, because everything that plays out in Iraq is going to happen at a larger scale eventually. I think Iraq is kind of what we call in military a meeting engagement. This is where it all comes together. This is a microcosm of what's going to happen everywhere else. But with that said, I think we have to be push diplomatic solutions rather than any military solutions across the board.